I was actually going to do it after a super chat asking for advice or questions about hosting this show, because we are not the only people who are interested in running our own stuff on non-mainstream platforms, on social media platforms or alternative platforms, because now you guys have the opportunity to watch former squad members, Bowman and Bush, because they're launching a YouTube show. So this is Jamaal Bowman and Cori Bush, who both lost their seats during the last election. They are now working with a former MSNBC personality to launch their own YouTube show. So in a statement, Cori Bush wrote, "I'm beyond excited to announce the launch of our brand new monthly show, Bowman and Bush, exclusive on Zeto, which is owned by progressive pundit Mehdi Hassan's media company." So, or it is her media company. She says, Bush says, "Tune in as Jamaal Bowman and I dive deep into what's really happening in Congress and explore the powerful influence of big money. Get ready for real talk, insider insights, and a look behind the curtain." Gothix, are you going to tune into their monthly program?
Hell no. I just don't understand why these people think that anyone would want to watch them outside of... Honestly, I don't even think people cared too much about them when they were actually holding their positions. You know, like I just... This sounds like a snooze fest to me. And I think their only marketing ploy is black. I don't care.
It does seem like they might be in for a rude awakening. They were very much celebrated by the media, but I don't know that they actually have an audience that follows them.
Yeah, no, I don't think that they do. The only time that I ever heard about these people is when they were saying stupid things and seeing them go viral. Otherwise, I had no idea who they were.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of like righteous indignation, like these people are mad about something, and so we'll have quotes from them. I find it interesting that they're going to YouTube on a monthly basis. I wonder if there was an attempt to get picked up by a major outlet before this, and ultimately they were not the darlings they thought they were. I used to say that academia was where the politicians who had failed the way out of politics went to die. I don't know if that's always true, but Liz Cheney went to University of Virginia and is teaching in their like political school now that she is no longer a member of Congress. You also have people like Matt Gaetz, who, when he opted to withdraw from the attorney general race, went to One American News and is hosting a show there. Do you think that people want to hear from members of Congress? Can they successfully transition out of their role as politicians?
I don't know if people necessarily want to hear. I think you have to be likable. I think regardless of what type of content you're engaged with, people actually have to like you and your personality in order for you to hold someone's attention online. I don't see that with Cori Bush. Jamaal, I don't know too much about him personally, but I just don't understand. I think it would be easier just to get like a normal regular job out of the public eye if I were in their position, but that's just me.
Who is this specifically?
It's Cori Bush and Jamaal Bowman. They were both members of the House of Congress, and they're sort of squad adjacent, but they both lost their last races. Jamaal Bowman is the guy who pulled the fire alarm and then pretended he didn't.
Oh,
yes. And if that's what you're famous for, I'm not sure I want your commentary on Congress.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be listening to that unless he's pulling fire alarms. He should do a segment on his podcast where it's like, now time to, and then it's like, the fire alarm's going off. Time to give you your daily news digest here. And
he could do a whole segment on just like bold-faced lying, because that was the craziest thing of his story, that he was like, I don't know, I made a mistake, I thought the door, and then like the clip came out later where he like takes the closed sign off the door and specifically walks over and pulls the fire alarm. He's like, oh, I thought you just pressed it to open the door. I'm a former school principal who has seen 100,000 fire alarms in my life. I made a mistake. I mean, he really stuck with the lie for a long time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Everyone wasn't buying it. And the more he kind of doubled down on it, everyone was like, oh, really? Are you going to be that ridiculous? You're going to be that insane that you're going to try to pull this off as some kind of larger accident here? And of course it wasn't.
Yeah. Do you think that there's a path forward for them on YouTube? Because you both are pretty experienced. Are they just entering an oversaturated market?
Yeah, it's an oversaturated market. I've noticed this trend of people who leave politics. Usually people that are on the left leave politics or leave their mainstream media jobs on the left. They end up trying to go independent and make their own Substack or YouTube, and they don't do very well. And I think it's because it's a totally different beast. It's like you don't have the luxury of having your speeches edited down to be more palatable. So someone's going to be able to see your BS from a mile away when you're doing it on YouTube. So I don't think they're going to do very well.
And I think you're right. There's an assumption that like they think they have clout and that people want to hear their expertise.
Plus, you have to work extremely hard. Like doing YouTube is extremely daunting, and people think it's this kind of lifestyle where it's so easy, it's so simple. No, there's so much work behind the scenes, and it is a market that is being filled with so many other hungrier people that actually like to work and prefer to work. So these liberals who don't have the best, I would say, work ethic, don't really give a damn about doing anything other than kind of getting government salaries and getting kickbacks from USAID. We saw what Stacey Abrams, also her foundations were getting like $2 billion in kickbacks from USAID. That's how predominantly these people were getting financed and funded through our tax dollars through these scammy ways. Now I think they realize the game's over. I got to actually work. Let's do the next quick, easiest thing. And that's just kind of complain on the internet. And they're going to realize it's not that easy. It's very hard, and they're not going to make it.
Yeah. And they're probably going to have a closed comment section too, because I don't see that going over well.
Yeah, I believe
have real discussions. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just think that's a good point. I mean, how often do we get people who come on the scene and they're like, wow, you're all so lucky to have me. And then immediately their comments go off because they're just not cut out for it. I don't think every person, I don't know that being in Congress can just transition you into being a talk show host. I mean, there are caveats here. She wasn't in Congress, but Jen Psaki, the initial Biden White House press secretary, left halfway through his term and got a sweet deal with MSNBC. And, you know, it's not that I think she is correct, but she does seem to have maintained some sort of upward career trajectory from that. I don't know that that's true for these two people who sort of stumbled their way through Congress and ultimately lost their seats.
It's going to be interesting. I'm kind of going to be tuning in because I kind of want to see this ish show. And I think it's going to be an ish show from the very beginning. And if they actually are open, because there's a big opportunity for the left right now. The left doesn't have a Joe Rogan, and I don't think they ever will, because they can't be intellectually honest. But there's a chance for someone to actually have real legitimate conversations on the left, engage people on the right in an open and honest debate. I don't see these guys doing it, though. I see these guys lecturing themselves. I see these guys in their own little echo chamber and not willing to explore larger political ideas and being challenged on them. If they would be able to be challenged on them, then I could see the show doing incredibly well. Like, that's the recipe. The recipe is conversation, debate, issues that are, you know, at play in the current moment where you're able to discuss them in an open and honest way. That's what I want to see. We're not going to see that with them.
I think it would be funny if they announced they were going to come on Rumble. That would make me watch for sure. If they announced that they were joining Rumble, I would laugh hysterically. I would think it was bold. I would think it was tongue in cheek. I'm sure Rumble would be supportive in any way they could. It's sticking to YouTube, and I feel like a weird corruption. Like, oh, so you have this former, you know, progressive. I believe her background is with MSNBC, Mehdi Hassan, who's starting a media company that's based on YouTube. And then you have these former congressmen. Like, it's hard for me not to feel like they're going to get some sort of, or they're relying on some sort of favorable treatment from YouTube. Maybe YouTube hasn't offered to them. I don't know, but I don't know. It's too inside baseball for me.
Yeah. Trump's giving some very interesting speeches right now to Democratic governors, and he's actually calling them out in real time. Some people are saying he just committed a murder on live national television, which kind of brings us into this larger topic of discussion with the left and debate, as they're kind of being forced to now debate Donald Trump in real time at this press conference. I just sent you the last link there with Unlimited L's that just released this clip that just happened a couple of moments ago.
The NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine? Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
Well, we are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding. Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be amazing. And enjoy your life after governor because I don't think you'll be in elected politics.
Wow.
I love this
It's
Trump.
so funny.
Wow.
Trump makes me laugh partially because Maine treated him so badly during the election. Do you remember the Secretary of State was like, well, it's my duty to take him off the ballot. Like, it's just so much pandering. But Maine, Trump is right. He did well there. Generally, it isn't a completely blue state. It's just dominated by the blue coastline.
Yeah, Maine's a very interesting, state. I spent a little bit of time there. Beautiful nature, but very sparse, very kind of isolated place. To see this confrontation, though, I think speaks to this larger new Trump that we're seeing that we were talking about earlier, specifically when it comes to not caving to the left, but kind of being more on the attack like the left has been within the last few years. This is something that has never really happened. The Republicans were always known as the yellow bellies, as the people that just kind of rolled over. This is different. This is something else. This is a new juggernaut that I think is shocking a lot of people.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and again, we kind of talked about this before with the White House's social media strategy. Trump is being direct. He's not playing nice. And he says, have a nice life afterwards. I think you're going to lose your seat. And he only has, 4 years left? I mean, he has 3 years and 11 months to go. He doesn't need to worry about re-election. I think that's probably pretty freeing for him. Gothix, what are you thinking? Do you think Trump is better? Do you think Trump will start a YouTube channel after his time in the White House?
I don't think he needs to because there's enough YouTube channels that are willing to platform him. So it's like the YouTubers are doing the work for him. As far as after he's done with his presidency, I think he should just stay on a golf course and just relax. But no, I love this version of Trump coming from someone that had TDS before. Like, I appreciate how direct he's being. He's not beating around the bush, and he's saying it to their face, which I love. I don't think they're used to getting challenged like that directly.